started.
I was trying to do that thing where, like, we're frozen, like, something's wrong with your computer, but you can't move and stop it.
Oh, yeah, that'd be crazy to do just to mess with people. Hello.
Hello. Oh, I thought we were doing it. Never mind.
Oh. Sorry. Kind of messed up the effect there.
Oh, no.
Let me turn my ringer off, because my mom's going to call right when we get the video started, because it's always how it works.
Don't forget your timer.
Yes, I turned the timer on already.
Party.
So, how's everybody doing? You might hear some background noise. We're by the window, and there's some little. We're right by the main courtyard area of our apartment, and there's a bunch of kids outside playing earlier and screaming. So sorry.
You love the sound of murder in the morning.
Yes. Well, it's already lunchtime.
It's brunch time.
It's brunch time. So, what's today's topic?
Today's topic is... Where's my pillow?
You need to comfort.
Yes, where is my pillow? It's like finding Waldo.
This one doesn't have much of hair.
Okay, I'm ready. So, today's topic is oaths and what is a high priest and a high priestess.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can dig it.
Yeah. So, what's a high priestess and a high priest?
They tell you what to do. No, I'm kidding. There's a lot more than that. Well, from my experience, a lot of the traditions that I've been involved in, there's different titles for people who lead the ritual. And in witchcraft or Wicca, some people say it's not as common in witchcraft, but in more commonly in Wicca, there is the high priest and a high priestess, which, according to Janet and Stuart Farrar's workings, the workings of Lady Sheba, and a few other people who have actually written this, they are the living representations of the god and the goddess here on earth. Meaning that whatever they say goes in circle. Excuse me. So they're like, basically they're the leads of the ritual. Their will is that of, represents that of the god and the goddess.
Yes. So I look at it more as someone who will teach you, lead you in the ways, and uphold the tradition and its mysteries, as well as be a living representation of what it is to be within the current. Is the title that I'm thinking of published? I think it was.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so within our tradition, can I say that? Yeah, another big thing is oath. I'm really big on that.
Yes.
So that's why you'll see me kind of mouth something to him, because I'm like, I want a double take. Just to be sure.
He's lying, he's eating an invisible cheeseburger. Which brings us up to our next question. Next thing is an oath. What's an oath to you?
An oath is a promise that you take. It's something that isn't... Oh, wait, hold on. I have something to add on to priests and priestess in a minute. An oath is a promise that you take to uphold and maintain the sacredness to a tradition, which means that you're not going to go explaining all of its secrets to everyone willy-nilly. It's like throwing pearls before swine. You're taking an oath is more like pledging yourself to something. Not like something stupid like fraternity, but to something on a higher level.
Yeah.
Something that is sacred that must be withheld and maintained. What I was going to add with it is, when people say that they're a priest and a priestess, what is it usually that you think of?
Oh, it varies, because I've met a lot of people who claim that they're priests and priestesses, but they don't act like it.
Or they don't really know it.
Yeah, to be a priest or a priestess, to me it always, with witches that I've known before who are, part of the traditions, they held a certain degree of dignity about them. They were more in control of situations, and rather than letting them, allowing themselves to be influenced by external influences. They just maintained their composure, and they're like, okay, we got this, we'll figure it out. There's an old saying that I like, where there's a witch, there's a way. One of my old high priestesses used to say that all the time whenever something would come up. And there was just a certain dignity about her. And, I had a lot of respect for her. I still have a lot of respect for her. I haven't seen her in years. But she was very, in charge type of person. Whenever an emergency would happen, she was just very calm, collective, because she knew, and I learned this from her, that when you panic, it doesn't help the situation, so you might as well stay calm to the best of your ability and push forward. I forgot the question, sorry. I went on a little ramble there.
No, you're fine. So, with the... I kind of forgot to because I kind of got it.
What is a high priest or priestess to you, I think it was? Something along those lines.
Yes, but my main reason for stating that is whenever you are a high priest or a high priestess or a priest or a priestess, it's not really a title that's just given or assumed. It is something, to me at least, that you have to earn.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen a lot of people, especially in the last few years, just assuming the title or stating that they're a high priest or a high priestess. And usually it's within tradition, and not necessarily always having to be Wicca. I've heard of other traditions having it, but usually if it's something that's like, oh, I'm a high priestess, oh, what's your tradition? And you say, oh, I'm Wiccan. Well, what kind of Wiccan? Oh, I'm eclectic. Then usually I'm kind of like, oh.
Oh, okay. I'm kind of looking, not to be offensive or anything like that, but it's kind of, when a person's a solitary practitioner and they don't have any traditional training, it's kind of like a letdown. Sorry, I mean, people are going to be like, well, who are you to say this and who are you to say that?
We're people who aren't assuming the title because we're not.
Yeah, we don't, we don't assume the title at all. I don't consider myself a high priest or a priestess. You don't either, do you?
No.
For me,
I liked it because one night you're like a nun with Hecate. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like nun, I think would be okay, even though it's kind of like more of it's technically like a Christian term, but I dig it.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, and people will be like, well, you have all this knowledge, and what do you refer to yourself as? I'm just a person who likes to read and practice a lot and studied a lot of traditions. Do I consider myself a witch? I didn't until I received my first set of initiations, probably a few years ago. And there's a lot of debate about that too, whether what is a witch, when can one assume the title of being a witch, and this varies from person to person. I personally didn't start calling myself a witch until I received my first degree initiations. Before that, I was just considering myself a sorcerer or something like that. Or I would coin the term pagan. Now that I've had my initiations, I refer to myself as a witch.
Yeah, with me, I had referred to myself as a witch before, but then I didn't have initiation, so I was kind of like, I felt like there was a drawback to it. So for a while before, when I was working towards my first degree initiation, it was me mostly just saying, oh, I practice magic, or something along those lines, or I practice sorcery, or oh yeah, it's basically like hoodoo is basically all I would say. But now after that, I could say with confidence, I'm a witch.
Yeah, and now with social media and stuff like that, we talk about this all the time, and we talk a lot of smack about this. If you do this, yeah.
Don't be mad, just know.
Yeah, just know that I come from, and this has come up too. I've seen other people, craft elders post about this stuff too on Facebook. How witchcraft has changed so much in the past since I've started practicing since like early 1990s.
It's changed a lot too since even when I started.
Yeah.
Officially like 2006, 2005.
Yeah, I started back in like 94. God, I'm old. That's making me want to drink. Where's my Pepsi at?
What were you saying now?
So, but the craft has changed so much over the years, and now everybody has all this knowledge of it. People go online and they'll look up specific spells. I'm guilty of doing this on occasion, but they don't have that background or that training, and then they get upset when their spells don't work. It's like, okay.
Or when they get the really messed up result.
Yeah, or you get messed up results, and you're like, well, it didn't work the way that it was supposed to, and there's no such thing as. It's like, okay, calm down, but that's going into another thing. But the thing that I'm going on to is, there's these silly little posts on Facebook where everyone's like, oh, you're a witch if you do this, or you're a witch if you do that. All you have to do
all your
is,
clothes are black.
Yeah,
I'm like,
all you have to do is claim the title. Might not work like that.
I would still consider that appropriation.
Yeah.
No offense.
Yeah, no offense, but in a lot of the older traditions, you're what you call yourself, whether it's a witch or Your degrees, they're non-transferable. It's not like college here.
Even some colleges don't let you do that.
Yes,
Which
I learned that the hard way.
brings me to something else that I always love whenever you bring up.
On-the-job training?
No.
Oh.
Every coven is law unto itself.
Yes.
So I've seen and heard of like some like areas where there's like a group of people from all these traditions and they want to call themselves elders. Just because you're an elder in your tradition doesn't mean squat to another tradition.
Exactly.
Like I mean we respect you for what you've done as long as you've worked towards it within your tradition. Good for you. But that's in your tradition. It's not within this other person's coven or within this other tradition. It doesn't carry over.
Yeah.
So these people that come together saying they're a group of elders, it sounds like kind of like a cheesy movie to me.
It does.
It's like
I love the
Ministry
TV
of Magic.
Yeah. It's like Charmed. I love the TV show, but I blame that for a lot of misnomers and a lot of the witchy TV shows that come out, like Charmed, Secret Circle. What's that other
Magicians?
one? The Magicians. There's another one that I can never stay awake for.
Which one? The originals?
No, that one with the.
Oh, Witches of East End.
Yeah. I was gonna say the two slay chicks.
Oh, I love Aunt Wendy on that show though.
Yeah.
She's like the main reason why I watched it.
And then there was another one too called Eastwick that was out for like one season. It was actually pretty good.
Oh.
It was based off of Witches of Eastwick TV movie.
Oh.
It was a TV series. Stuff like that. A lot of people watch that stuff and they think that's magic. They think that's witchcraft. They think that's what it's actually like.
Are you talking about Coven?
Oh my god, I hate that movie.
I'm sorry, but you Cordelia Foxit sometimes. Are you the Supreme? No, I'm just like you. Just a witch.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were talking about the movie Coven with all those guys.
Oh, those guys were cute.
That was a stupid movie.
It was, but it was on eye candy.
Yeah. American Horror Story was pretty legit. I like that one.
It was hilarious.
But, I don't expect a Minotaur to be attacking me.
Ooh.
I gotta tell you a story one of these days if we ever get down to it about stuff like that. So, a lot of, and I've seen people do this where they're like, well, I can only use my powers for good. And then they talk about karma.
Personal gain.
Yeah, personal gain and the threefold law. And
I'm like, you do know that most of magic is based on personal gain.
yeah, and it's like, I can't do
and
magic
it's all
for myself.
manipulation regardless of whether you're doing anything at all.
Yeah, and every time I hear somebody say that, I kind of want, I gotta resist the urge to go up there and be like, I'm not gonna slap you, I'm not gonna slap you, I'm just gonna walk away.
I'm gonna show you manipulative. Let's cast this circle.
And I'm like, well, you're manipulating me with your stupidity, okay? No, I'm kidding. No.
God, we're gonna come off so shady.
I know, it's really like, these bitches got issues.
But it's something that, okay, this is really awkward. I was on break at work, and it kind of bugged me because I was seeing it a lot on social media. And so don't blame him, this was my idea for the topic.
Yeah.
This is something that was kind of irking me. And usually, I'll just look at everyone and smile very shady,
Oh, I know what you're talking about. That one post from somebody. How they were hating on one particular author.
No, that was just part of it. There was more than that.
Okay.
Oh
yeah.
my god.
No, we're not going to name drop. That's just rude.
Yeah, no.
But, and I kind of agree
Don't be
with...
shady, be a lady.
Yeah, I kind of agree with some of the points on that, but, for it to go on in a long rant like that, no business.
We're shady ladies, but we're
Yes.
not that shady.
And for me, that's always been a problem with social media, too, and you were saying with your story, you've been seeing it on social media.
I've just been seeing it, I notice it's almost like a trend, it gets really big, oh my god, I'm going to take a picture of all of my magical stuff, and I'm going to assume the priestess or priest title.
Yeah.
But then I know that the person didn't have any traditional training.
Yeah, and with any type of dependent, and from tradition to tradition, there's always study that goes involved. There's a lot of study and a lot of practice. People think that they can get into witchcraft and it's like, oh yeah, I just got to go to these meetings and do this and I get to cast some cool spells.
It's not a cult like
yeah,
that.
no, it's you're maintaining a tradition, a spiritual heritage. The experiences of collective groups of people who have practiced, if it's a new tradition, then you're still working the kinks out of it, and you're working through a lot of stuff, but you are the representative of that tradition, and there is training. First degrees, usually it's just attending rituals, learning your basics, such as your quarter calls, consecration of your elements, the deities that you work with, stuff like that. After you receive your first degrees, or after you receive your first degree initiation, your training continues, and from tradition to tradition it varies. Excuse me. Like learning, the secret stuff that your circle does. Yes, there are secrets in witchcraft. It's a mystery tradition. There are different deity names that they go through, different ways that they do stuff. I've been to rituals that's like, yeah, that's the way that we write stuff for the public, but that's not how we actually practice. This is how you do it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, really?
You're like, half this ritual wasn't even in.
Yeah, and I'm like, it took me 6 months to memorize this, and now you're like, oh no, that's not how we do it.
They just wanted to see if you could do it.
Yeah, and I'm like,
or if you would
really?
actually try.
Oh yeah.
Because a lot of people won't even attempt it, and then they'll show up and think that they're not going to have to do anything. My favorite thing is, like, whenever I see something like that, and then the person shows up and they're like, all right, cool, so you've been studying everything, right? Yeah? All right, open the ritual.
Mm-hmm. I like to do that to people. I like to do that to people. I'm like, what?
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm like, you said you were studying. And
we need to find people who can pass their witchcraft classes so we can do that to them.
I know, right? Yeah, apparently my witchcraft classes are a little bit intense.
Not even that bad.
Yeah, I haven't had one person be able to meet up with all of the... I think the longest I've had is probably somebody who's gone like about 6 months, and then it was just too much work.
But they kept canceling their classes and showing a few, weeks later.
Yeah, they wouldn't show up for all of their classes.
It was basically, they made it to lesson 3.
Yeah, they made it before we got to the fun stuff. But when I teach witchcraft, it's a combination of stuff. It's like, Wicca with Sabbatic stuff and all this other stuff that we've learned, which is,
We basically just put things that we both know into a workable system, and we teach it that way. Because the tradition that we're initiated in, we don't pass on that.
Sorry. But yeah, we do a combination of stuff, especially when we do public rituals and everything like that, which is fun. It's just...
Pass on that? I just realized I can't even talk today.
Yeah.
Pass that on.
I'm the same way too. It's like my tongue's being stupid. There's a lot of stuff that goes on with that, and with the way that I've taught witchcraft in the past to other people, even with any type of spiritual stuff that I teach. Apparently my stuff is a little bit intense because with my hoodoo stuff, I've taught several people, but probably only 5 people have completed the whole course set. So, which is kind of weird. I think I need to get down.
But then again, you don't want to have people going out there with ill training and everything. So I think it's fine the way it is. Because I always tell them, I was like, you're giving a lot of information for one class. I don't think they're gonna get it.
Yeah.
But some of them do.
That's how I roll.
I think the ones that actually get it are fine, and those who don't probably shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah. Because even with witchcraft too, as a high priest and priestess, there are certain things that that are required from traditions. Some of them are community service, doing work with the public, counseling. That's usually one of the things that a high priest and priestess do, because they have to be there for their coven. They have to be there for people that ask them for help in their circle, or if they do public work.
And I think a good thing about it too that you'll notice when someone has truly worked their way up to priest or priestess is they don't have the ego, and they don't suffer from having an overly sized ego. So I think that tends to be the downfall of a lot of people when they get involved in a lot of magical practices, is their ego gets in the way. Once they start having good success, which is amazing, you should be happy about your success. However, whenever your ego gets too inflated, you know what they say, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. People tend to fall. And it's not pretty. And it's not pretty whenever I see someone that's saying that they're a priest or a priestess, and they're just towering over everyone. Even people not in their coven expecting them to bow down at their feet and praise them.
Oh yeah, I had a woman do that to me once.
Oh.
I laughed at her and I was like, okay.
She's like, I am a priestess.
I'm like, good for you. No, this is how we're gonna do things.
You're very good for you.
Yeah.
Wasn't she the one that said that she was eclectic?
I think so.
Yeah, no. Sorry. But
yeah, and we don't have anything problem. We don't have a problem with eclecticism. I'm not sure if I said that right.
Eclecticism, I like because it kind of reminds me of when we were really more into chaos magic.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of how I looked at it.
Yeah, it was.
But it's cool. as long as you're getting results, then I wouldn't really consider it more of a tradition, more sorcery than anything.
Yeah.
But sorcery is cool as hell. I love it.
Oh yeah, I loved my sorcery days. Now I just focus more on witchcraft, and for me, witchcraft is more of a spiritual lineage, and sorcery was more about getting the physical, tangible results.
I think that's where a lot of sorcery and witchcraft kind of split. Oh, that could be a whole other video.
Yes, that could be. There was something else I was going to say too. Oh, the other thing that that's common and has always been a hot button topic with the Wiccan and witch community too is sometimes they say that, and I've heard this before too, that only a witch can make a witch, meaning that only another witch who has the proper degrees can initiate somebody into witchcraft. And that's where it gets wishy-washy when people are like, well, I did self-dedication rituals, so I'm a witch. That's not always recognized by a lot of groups.
I was one of those people that claimed that, but looking at it from the inside out, I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, doing a self-dedication ritual, to me, there's some validity there, but it's like saying it's making a formal declaration to the
It's like people that work towards becoming a doctor, and then other people who kind of like read online, but they have no training to be a doctor, and they just think that they're a doctor.
Yeah, I guess you could say it like that.
Yes, you can practice magic, but necessarily as being a witch carrying on a spiritual lineage, not really.
Yeah,
Kind of,
maybe.
Like, you can still get it to work, but it's more of like a magical practitioner or a witch working towards the title.
Yeah.
Witch in training almost.
Mm-hmm. But, for me, it's just like, for a witch to make a witch, if you're following a specific tradition, yes. And this is where I get kind of contradictory on the subject, because I did the self-dedication thing years ago, and for me that was just like declaring to the deities that I was following, or to the goddess that, okay, I want to be pagan, I want to follow the old, other traditions and stuff like that, so that's it. This is my official declaration. Here's a contract. No, there was no contract, no blood pacts or nothing.
But the cool thing about dedication is you're showing that you're working towards this. And whenever you start establishing that relationship and the communication with the gods or the spirits, whatever it is you're working with, you can ask them to help you out, to get yourself towards initiation, to find a group or a tradition that works for you that you can work your way into. If you're in a rural area, make these connections and see if there's a way that you can work with this group.
Right now on social media, there's a lot of stuff that's up there, and I see once in a while too with on some of the groups that I'm on, people will post new witch, I want to get started and stuff, and I want somebody to train me, and then there's a whole slew of information about people who are eager to train, but it's like, what is this person's credentials?
Yeah, I would say make sure that you check into credentials.
Yeah.
Don't meet anybody directly at their house. That's
because it's creepy.
Yeah, and if you feel uncomfortable or that they're making advances that you're uncomfortable with, bounce, leave, don't do it. Just because someone says that they can offer you all this knowledge doesn't mean that you have to give them anything that they want.
Yeah, it's up to you. You have the final say into it because it's your spiritual, practice.
And you got to keep yourself safe too.
Yeah.
Also, if you come upon a group that wants you to do drugs or participate in anything else that's weird, don't do it if you don't want to. Especially the drug part, you don't really need that.
Yeah. If they're requiring that you have sex with them,
Oh, did I tell you about that time someone tried to pull this shit with me?
I don't.
Back in New Mexico, this guy was like, I can teach you so much magic.
Yes, he did.
And I'm like, I see what you did, and this is like some basic ass spell. Your card in your water bottle. Get your ace of hearts away from your doorway. That shit ain't working anyways.
Yeah, I had somebody actually I had a student who did that to me. He started making physical advances at me. Yeah, we're sitting there in ritual, and because he wanted to, carry his training further, and I was like, okay, sure, we'll go ahead and do this and this and this and this. And I had him over for a circle a couple times, and I was like, okay, this is how I do things. We didn't actually. Our first meeting wasn't here at my home. It was other places where we would meet up at stores. I've been to his house maybe once or twice, and so I invited him over for a ritual. It was just a regular circle casting, quarter call, stuff like that. And he starts making physical advances towards me, and in the middle of a circle, he's like, "Yeah, I'm really interested in learning witchcraft and magic and everything like that." And I was like, "Cool, well, I can go ahead and help. I can, guide you down, the right path. And if you're down with what I teach, then you're more than welcome to continue to learn and everything like that." And so he was like, "Oh yeah, I'll do anything to learn magic." I stopped talking to him after that. I'm like, no.
You're like, do I look like some kind of witchcraft hooker?
Yeah, no, I was just like, that made me very uncomfortable. But yeah, as for back to the thing about the whole witch, if a witch can make a witch, it varies from
bring the witch
tradition.
out in you.
Right. It varies from tradition to tradition. If you want to claim the title, that's up to you.
Just don't claim the title of a priest or a priestess, at least.
Yeah, unless you actually have the training, because there's a lot of work that goes into being a priest or priestess. And so, even reaching your 3rd degree to be a full, and degrees vary from tradition but I can't even talk anymore. Tradition. Yes. So, by saying, if it takes you about it takes longer than a year and a day to become a 3rd degree. Sometimes 2nd degree is the same way. 1st degree is usually a year and a day, but at the end of the day, your high priest and priestess have the final word as to whether you get your initiations or not.
And if they decide not to initiate you, because you still either A, you're not a 1st degree yet, and they decide not to go with you, or B, they don't feel like you're proficient within your training, they can deny it, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It might be disheartening to hear, but it's something that you need to work on.
Oh yeah.
Or you're just not the right fit, and getting angry about it isn't a good thing, and let alone trying to bring in another group or anyone else into it.
Mm-hmm.
That is also showing that, yes, you weren't ready.
Yeah, it shows immaturity, and you're trying to find somebody to fight your battles for you.
And also the whole oath of secrecy, you wouldn't have been able to keep it.
Yeah, because to be a high priest and priestess is the 4 cornerstones of magic: to dare, to know, to will, to keep silent.
Let alone to become a 1st degree.
Mm-hmm. And if you can't do that, and work on it. That's the best thing I can say about it. Because I've had experiences where people have tried to get me involved in other people's coven drama. I'm like, not my circus, not my monkeys.
Yep.
Oops.
And we're not trying to sound like super bitchy or anything. It's just something that I know should be addressed. It's a little bit more serious.
Yeah, and everybody lets on to it. And it's been coming up a lot too, just with like podcasts, different topics that I've seen in different groups and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So this is just our take on it. This is again our opinion only, so don't get offended.
Based on our own personal experiences and what we practice.
Yes. So, but we are out of time, so if you have any questions,
comment, share, subscribe. If you don't like it, sorry. You can come back and watch another time.
Yeah, and this is a hot button topic, so it's going to get some people upset.
We're not trying to be shady.
Yeah, you're you spend the whole first 5 minutes. We're shady.
Just a little bit. I mean, look at the shade outside.
Yeah.
It's overcast and beautiful today in Phoenix. I love it.
So you guys have a good time, and we'll see you next video. Hope you enjoyed this one. Remember, like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, feel free to put a comment thingy down there, or send us an email at toadandbroom@gmail.com, and we will talk to you guys soon.
Bye.